Well, hello, and welcome back to that thing we like to call Curless Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. Before we do anything else, I'm very excited to welcome back. It's been way too long, but I'm happy, very, very happy to welcome back Cody Brockway to the channel. Cody, how are you?
Rockways Vinyl Bites. I'm happy to be here, man. Thank you so much for inviting me back. It is always a pleasure to be here with you because you are a star.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So are you. So it's like mutual admiration society right here. So yes, check out Cody's Brockway's Vinyl Bites, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Brockway's
yeah.
Vinyl Bites. So that I mean, he's got so much cool content on there, and he's got like there's like he's playing along to classic prog tracks on the drums, and he's killing it. Just
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
just did Moonlit Night by Genesis,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
and did you post the Yes one too?
yeah. I did in the last month. I did a couple. I did Tool Schism. I did Genesis, Selling England by the sorry, Dancing with the Moonlit Night from the Selling England by the Pound record.
Right.
And I did Yes is Siberian True. And a little bit before that, I did some Kansas as well. I know a lot of you prog fans will be into that. So all the
Nice.
proggers, come on over.
Nice. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You won't be disappointed. Um,
Thanks, Tom. Thank
yep.
you.
Yeah, no problem, man. So we are here to talk some business though. The business at hand is some classic prog live records. We were Cody and I were like, what are we gonna do next? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're like, that's always the question. Like, what are you gonna do next? And I said, what about like, because I've been doing some live stuff on my channel lately. And I'm like, what about live? What about some classic prog live records? When you're thinking prog live records, the first one that came to mind for me was Yessongs,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this is just what an album, right? Amazing. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It
Gorgeous.
just triple live album back in the day. That was very prestigious, right? With a huge
That,
fold out
that was pretty insane.
and a booklet too, and a booklet,
Does
right?
mine have the booklet? Let me see.
You have
Mine
the
might be.
booklet?
Um, I don't know. I don't think it does.
I think I have the
Yeah,
booklet.
I might have it. Oh, I do have it here. Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. Yep. 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 So full color booklet. I mean, I remember as a kid, I knew this album when I mean, my older sister had this record, and I just remember looking at that, and you're like, oh, who are these guys? They got capes on, they got long hair, they're doing all these like 20-minute songs. Like these guys are nuts. How cool is this band? You know?
Very cool, Tom.
I remember thinking that even when I was like 8 or 9 years old, 10 years old, I was like, these guys are so cool, you know? Loved it.
They're amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yes. But yeah, so we're doing Yes songs, and then I paired it up with, I always do these battles, so that I figured the battle would be the next live album that was released by Yes, which was Yesshows in 1980.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep. If I
This
can
is
get
such
it
a good one.
focus, geez. Um, but you just look at Cody's, his is in focus. Um, but but check this out. I always like to point out, I got this at the Princeton Record Exchange in New Jersey for 3.99 back in the day.
Wow. That's
Four
awesome.
bucks for a double live record. That was like when vinyl was like nobody was buying vinyl. Everyone was into CDs at the time. Like vinyl's gone, man. It's all CD. You could
Well,
buy vinyl for nothing.
we got them both here.
Well, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. All right. So that's the battle today is yes songs versus yes shows.
And
So
we could take a second, because John Anderson and the Band Geeks just put out this awesome record,
yes.
and they have a new live album coming out, and they will be doing Yes songs on it. So
Incredible.
It's coming out in March.
Awesome, awesome. And I mean, that album is surprisingly strong. Like people are like shocked how good that album is.
Oh, I know.
You know,
It's unreal.
it's really he John doesn't mess around, man. He always gets you know, if he's gonna collaborate with someone, you know it's gonna be quality. Most of the time, it's gonna be quality.
I know, and a lot of people don't love the cover. Don't base the album by the cover. The music is brilliant, and
Yes.
it is such a good record. My God,
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the live record. So yeah, absolutely.
March
Uh,
14th.
yep. So yes songs. Let's start with yes songs. I'm just gonna do a really, really fast rundown. So basically, it was released May 4th, 1973, on Atlantic. Um, on Atlantic. Uh,
Love the shirt, man.
yeah, yeah. Recorded. It was recorded February through December of 1972 on Fragile and Close to the Edge tours, I believe.
Yeah,
Um, and it was produced by Yes and Eddie Offord, which was the same production credit as Close to the Edge, I believe.
yep,
Uh,
yep.
Bill Bruford is on two tracks, which is The Fish, and Long Distance Runaround. I guess there's like technically it's like three tracks: The Fish, Long Distance Runaround, and Perpetual Change. So,
Oh yeah, okay.
yep. But everything else
Yeah,
is Alan White, who basically I think because what Bruford left after right after they finished.
close to
I
the
guess he
edge.
did a couple dates. I don't know. Right after Close to the Edge, he left. Right?
Yeah, like just before they were going on tour.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
before they're going on tour because basically that story is well when Chris Squire found out that Alan White could be uh like possible for the Yes gig, he said, if you don't join the band, I'm gonna throw you out of that window right over there. Three days before the gig.
Wow. Wow. My other favorite. So there's a lot of stories that going along with the drumming thing. So another story I heard what was that Bill Bruford said that Robert Fripp called him and he said it and he says in his pretentious way he said, I think you're about ready now, Bill, to join King Crimson, you know.
Yeah,
uh,
I
so
heard that too.
so that's pretty funny that he was like, yeah, I think you're now prepared and ready to join King Crimson. um and I think that Bill couldn't resist it. He just couldn't resist the challenge of joining something like King Crimson, you know. um because people say, "What was you were crazy, man? You're leaving Yes at their height. What are you doing? Like what?" You know.
Whoops.
Um.
She's okay, don't worry. She's all
Right.
right.
Okay. Okay. Um. But yeah, so people thought Bill was crazy. They're like, "I cannot believe you would leave the hugely successful band at you know, arguably their height, right?" Uh.
Yeah.
But Alan White stepped in really. I mean, oh my God, he had to learn that stuff so fast.
3 days. 3 days. And that just proves that he was the guy for the gig because he nailed it. As you can hear him doing like his versions of Close to the Edge and all that. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And Bill Bruford, yeah, like the moment that he knew, because he said everything in Yes was so organized, uh, compositionally, and he goes, with King Crimson, you were just supposed to know. He said they were riding in a limo and they were driving down the street and they saw that Close to the Edge was number 3 on Billboard, and he goes, "That's it.
Yeah.
I'm out."
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
goes like
Yeah.
he's like I think he said, "I'm never gonna do something like that level again." So that's good enough, and I'm out. And I'm gonna go do the King Crimson thing. Like what?
Yeah. That. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, hey, we're all better off for it in the sense that we got to see more of Alan White outside of the George Harrison and John Lennon stuff that he had been doing, and then we got Bill Bruford with King Crimson, which just totally was something else, right? Just
Yeah.
unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Like that was great when he joined King Crimson. They went "Rrr," like I love his drumming in King Crimson as well.
And
Um.
and he was there for a long time. Like anytime they came back, and Robert Fripp would put the band on hiatus and then bring it back. He typically came back every time till about the 2000s. Then he was just like, nah. no
Yeah,
more.
you're right. He was with it. Yeah, he would always come back for many, many years. Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah,
Robert always wanted him back, right? Because he knew he was a talented, just a very, very, very gifted drummer. Um,
totally.
yeah. So, but yeah, but Alan White comes in, like you said, 3 days before. I mean, he's cramming. I mean, think about the cramming you would have to do to learn like a Close to the Edge before the tour. It's like, are you kidding me? Um, but he apparently he did it, and he said that I think there's a story I read in an interview or saw an interview with Chris Squire where he said something like the first night he said he was almost perfect. He said it was insane. He goes, he couldn't believe he kept turning around like, oh my God, he was getting all the stops, he was getting all the changes, he was like, he was killing it. Like he's like, oh my God, it blew his mind. And then he said, but then what happened was the next gig he sort of relaxed and he made a lot of errors the next gig, apparently, or something like that.
Oh, and
Yeah.
as it happens, right? As it
Yeah.
happens, when you kind of get like, oh, okay, like when you like, I did a good job the first time, then it comes down to the second time, it's like, no, you got to keep that mindset, right?
That intensity, like what, like 'cause he was so jacked up for that first gig. He's just like, oh, I gotta get it right, and he like apparently just like killed it the first night. And then it was like, oh, you did a great job. And then once everyone said you did a great job, oh, okay, I can relax now. It's like the next gig, you're like, oh no, like what's the change on that again? Yeah,
I wish I could hear that show. That would be interesting to hear that, the very first show that he would
very
have played.
first.
And he never left the band.
Yeah,
All the other guys would leave and come back, including Steve Howe. Alan White was there from 1972 right till his death about a
that's
year
true.
ago.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah, that's absolutely rest in peace for sure. Yeah. Still miss Alan. I mean, I loved Alan White. Oh my God. I mean,
Me too.
the fact that he could do that. I mean, the ultimate props to him that he could do that he could come into a band like Yes and play on that tour just in short notice. That's just like respect, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so his performance on this would be his first album with the band. But then they would go back into the studio and do possibly one of the most daunting records ever to make. And that is Tales from Topographic Oceans. Oh my God.
Imagine
What
that being your
absolutely.
first record with the band.
I imagine, right? But it's an absolute classic. I mean,
Mhm.
it's some people are torn on it. I'm pro Tales. I just think it's amazing. I love it. It's the ritual. Come on, the
Yeah.
ritual, the version of the ritual on it. We'll get to that. We'll
Yes,
get.
we'll get to that. We'll get to So, okay, so we don't have to go song by song on this. I'm going to keep it pretty loose, but let's just say let's tackle Yes songs. So when my first question to everybody now is when was the first time? Do you remember the first time you heard Yes songs?
No, I would have been a lot younger.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been in my life. So I was born the year before this came out.
Okay. Okay.
And so this was just playing because my dad saw Yes 20 times at least. The
So your
last two
dad was a
times would have been
massive fan.
going right back to 1971. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He saw Yes with Bill Bruford in 1972.
That's
So
awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. That's amazing.
he said they were 3 hours late because they were held up at the border, and then they put on one of the best shows that he's ever seen.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, they're unreal. But so this came out, and so this has always been one of my favorite Yes albums. My dad and I used to listen to this all the time growing up. We still
Right.
do.
Yep.
Um, and so Yes has been in my life ever since. Like I didn't even know what prog rock was. I just knew Yes was like this amazing classic rock band that both my parents loved. You know,
Right. Your mom
and
loved him too?
she likes them. Yeah, she not as much as him, but she likes them.
Okay.
Like she there's many songs and stuff that she likes, but he's like hook, line, and sinker, die hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's an appreciator. He's a mega fan. You know, I
Okay.
fall into the mega fan category, and I used to listen to them all the time with her too, and she was always fine with it. Yeah, so
Alright.
she dug it. I've seen
Yeah.
All Good People, you know,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
but I would have been a lot younger.
So
And
you went backwards to it eventually. You went backwards and got it. Yeah.
yeah, I got the CD about 10 years ago, and this is not one that I listen to over and over. But the performances on it are so good. Like I
Yeah.
remember when I first opened my record store, Second Chance Records in Caledonia, Ontario, Canada.
Nice.
Um, and side note, we have a website, www.secondchancerecords.ca. We ship everywhere. Um, so I remember putting this on and just going, wow, because my dad was always like, yeah, it's great, but the sound on it's kind of muddy, so he never played it a lot. But when I took it into my own hands and put it on, I was like, okay, yeah, the sound is muddy, but my God, the performances are just jaw-dropping on this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
totally electrifying. And
Yes.
so and so every time I do come back to this, it's always a reminder of how amazing the playing is on this thing. It's fantastic.
Yes. Oh God, yeah, absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more because that's usually that's usually the thing that's pointed at Yessongs is the production is not, it could be better. It's a little muddy. But you know what? It's a live record. I mean, it's not going to be perfection on the fidelity standpoint, but the, like, to your point, I mean, the performances are just so energetic. They're just like, "Oh my God, so good."
Oh yeah, and the video, I've got the DVD for it. Hold on just 2 seconds here.
Okay.
I
Okay.
got the DVD for it,
Oh, yes,
and
yes, and yep,
if you want to see really close up shots of their faces, here you go.
nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a, that's also kind of a weird, I've seen it. It's kind of, it's not, it's sort of, it's good. It's like a great historical document, but it's the shooting of it is kind of bizarre. Like you said, it's kind of weird.
And but I watched the keyboard solo in Close to the Edge when they rip into that on here.
Mhm.
It's incredible. And I
Yeah.
remember a number of years ago, a friend of mine who I was probably what 20 or 21 at least at this time, so a good 6 years ago. Um, I played him this to try to get him into Yes. I
Yeah.
don't, and unfortunately, I don't think he ever became a big fan, but it was really enjoyable for me to get to listen to it with him.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's
yeah.
a great record. I've had people. I had a guy a long time ago come and buy this record off me and say, um, "This is his favorite Yes album. It's the only Yes album he listened to because
Oh,
he listened to this in high school and this was his favorite, and so this is the only one that he wanted." Like, okay, all right, okay,
okay.
okay. That's to each their own, right? But yeah, it's great performances, and honestly, especially at the time, this would have been a pretty great documentation of what Yes sounded like live. If you couldn't go to a show or whatever, it's just a really great historical keepsake, you know.
Yeah, I
Of
mean, if you crank this record up on your stereo, it almost sounds like you're standing in the crowd. I mean, it's like you feel like you're, close your eyes, you feel like you're at a gig. It's because like you said, even the murkiness of the sound, it just sounds like a live gig. You know what I mean?
And
Uh,
you know, the murkiness of the sound is not actually throughout the whole thing. It's only throughout parts of it that
right, right.
that is like that. And yeah, if you crank it up loud enough, it's fine regardless, you know.
Yeah,
Tara
yeah,
and I were listening to this and I'm going, I said to her, I said, oh, it's not that bad, like production wise. It's okay, you know,
right,
it's not bad sounding for an old 70s live record. But
right, right.
what shines through is the songs are amazing on this. I want to just give a shout out to Siberian Khatru, Heart of the Sunrise, Perpetual Change. You get all of Close to the Edge, the whole album live
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yes, exactly.
and but the whole thing, the energy is just electrifying off this thing. It really is so good. And if you don't like the murkiness of the sound, which hey, that's totally respectable, this thing clears that up, and it's from the same tour.
Yeah, yeah. That is
Highlights
just,
from '72.
oh, that is so good. Oh
I
my
know.
God. You Cody was like, Tom, you gotta, have you heard Progeny yet? You gotta check out the Progeny highlights. And I was like, okay. And I listened to it, and because I don't own it yet, but I really need like the physical copy of it. I don't have one yet, but I'm gonna get one because it's so good.
The CD is still very much in print. The highlights CD.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
the record too, but you can get the CD, no problem. I didn't pull it, but I've got it. It's great. It's great. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So what's your take on the difference on the sound with the Progeny? Like, because it's almost like to me, the one thing that struck me immediately was you could hear Wakeman better. Did you notice that?
Everything's cleaner.
Yeah.
And typically when I would go for this, I probably pull this out more because of the like you still get the intensity of the band, you still get that heavy, dirty like distortion on the guitars and stuff like that, but it's not muddy. It's a very cleaned up
Clean.
record.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I'd say that this in all its glory is a fantastic album, but possibly could use a remix, maybe give Steven Wilson a call.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly. Right.
But no, it's a fantastic album. It's just you know, this is the original, can't mess with it, but this is kind of like a more modern, updated version of essentially what is sort of the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But less music on this. As it doesn't have the 14-minute perpetual change.
Right.
But it
Right.
does still have all of Close to the Edge live.
Yes. And
And
that version on there of Close to the Edge, I think it's different. It's really, really good. Like it's awesome.
that close to the and it tells you where they were all recorded
Oh, nice.
back here. So the
Nice.
roundabout, I would like to say, was recorded on October 31st at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Ontario.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But everything else is from North Carolina, Tennessee, and New York. See, if you get the CD box set of this, there's a 14 disc. I don't have it. I know people who do, and they all say it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
a 14 disc set documenting all of the full shows from this tour.
Yeah. Isn't it like 7 shows or something that were recorded or something like that from that tour? Yeah.
Yeah. They
Um,
released one of them on vinyl for Record Store Day a little while ago, and it's this slab of brilliance here.
Beautiful. That looks,
But
I gotta have, oh, Jesus, you're killing me. I gotta, now I really like, I want that. I want that.
you can
Um,
actually order it from secondchancerecords.ca. We have it literally for sale in the store. So
oh, all right. I may have to do that. I may have to get after this call. I may have to do that.
go for
Uh,
it.
after this video. Um, so yeah, but the opening when they have the classical, the Firebird Suite into Siberian Khatru is like I mean that's so powerful, you know.
The first time I would have heard this, it would have been at my record store. And
Mhm.
I put the needle down on the record, and Siberian Khatru comes on, and they did something that I had never heard before with the arrangement to that. And it's when they come in for the last verse, and when the drums follow the bass, when it goes boom, boom, ba da 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 boom, and it does that so many times throughout that verse.
Right.
First hearing this, when I first heard that version of this, sitting at the store that day, it was like, oh my God, that's unreal.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Like, listen how heavy, that's nasty. Like,
Yeah. 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 And
so
I
good.
and I really, where Bill Bruford is more the jazzy finesse kind of drummer, sort of like, with the side stick he's sort of jazzy and he's got a lot of syncopation. And whereas Alan White is much more like driving, like that's Siberian, Siberian Khatru on the studio version versus this version. It's like do. It's so driving. It's like, oh my God, Alan's just killing it on I mean, it's like a different almost like a different driving version of it. So cool.
Listening to and watching Alan's energy on the whole Yessongs deal, really, like, especially the Close to the Edge performance, it feels like he's playing to save his life,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
it's like it's like he'd been caged for so long
Right.
that he came
Right.
out just like running. He just came out just
Just
booking it
oh,
on this thing.
absolutely. He's coming out of the gate because he's still proving himself, right? I mean, he's literally just joined the band, so he's still proving himself to the band. I'm sure that in this whole tour, he's playing out of his mind.
And this original release is so monumental, especially because of what you just said, and the
Hmm.
fact that this is the very first documented Yes thing with Alan White.
Hmm.
Um, and so to have this original historic piece of prog brilliance is just amazing. Tara was telling me this funny story about how she was at a house party a long time ago and she hijacked the music and put on the live version of Perpetual Change from this.
Nice.
That's
That's great. That's awesome.
17. Tara, come say hi to the viewers. She's gonna make an appearance if you don't
Okay.
mind.
No, absolutely, please.
Whether you like it or not, she's coming in.
All right. So
Hi.
so Tara, what was playing when you put on Siberian Khatru? What was playing? Like, was it like Sugar Ray or something? Like, what was that?
It
What
was
was on?
some sort of rap music was
Okay.
playing. And I was like, I'm not having this anymore. I can't take it. Like, so I got up and I said, give me that aux cord, and I put on Perpetual Change from Yessongs.
The whole 14 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's like, what is this?
It wasn't the first time I did something like that as well. I actually got thrown out of a house party before for putting on
really?
prog. So
Was that yes as well?
I think it was. Yeah. So
That is
it's a
so
bit of a
funny.
regular occurrence.
That's a great story. I love that you're representing. You're like, look, this is what I want to
Oh
listen
yeah, always. I was only talking to Cody about the time I went to see them. I think I was about 10 years old. And I'm not going to tell that story. It's too inappropriate. But I was walking through the streets of Dublin the day after, and I actually bumped into Alan White by accident. And I
Oh,
can still picture when I looked up and saw his face. And like he was with his wife, so I let them go, and I'll never forgive myself for not saying hello to him. Do you know that? One
yeah.
of my biggest regrets. I know I was just a kid, but Jesus Christ,
I
like
heard he's really nice
I
too.
know it would have
And
been
you would
class.
have been super cool too. Yeah, like I'm
I
sure.
know, for God's sake.
Well, one of my
Jeez.
buddies met Alan White. Do you know the show Cash Cab? Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
My buddy Ben Bailey is the guy. I grew up with him,
Oh
and
wow.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and
That's
he I
Is
just
he the
saw him.
driver?
What's that?
Is he the driver guy?
Yeah, he's a driver. Yeah,
No way.
yeah. So
That's awesome.
so he just came through Detroit, and he did like a live. He does like stand up, and he did a stand up live, and he told me a while ago that Alan White was at one of his shows, and he ended up being like, and he actually talked about me. He said one of my friends growing up loved Yes, and he would love to meet you.
Oh
Oh my
man.
God.
Well, that's unfortunate. Did you ever get to meet Alan White?
No, but
Oh,
Ben did, and I kind of feel like by proxy I met him because Ben met, and it just, yeah, it was like it took him a while to realize who it was because he kept saying, somebody was saying he's from Yes or something, and Ben was like, Yes, what? Yes, what? Yes, what are you talking about? Like, and then it turned all of a sudden it was like, oh, the band Yes, like you're okay, so yeah,
oh.
God.
That's awesome.
so
That's cool.
yeah, so he met
Sorry.
him
Me too.
anyway.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
Tara, thank you for joining us for a minute. That was cool.
Welcome.
so cool. Yeah, Alan White's a hell of a guy. I saw Yes on the same tour that she did.
Okay.
Obviously in Canada. Hers would have been in Ireland. But I saw them at Hamilton Place. For all my Canadians out there watching this, Hamilton, Ontario.
Nice.
They played there back in 2008. I would have been 10 years old. And then the next year they would have gone over to Europe, and that's when she would have seen them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dad had a friend who was best friends with Alan White. And his friend came up to us before the show and he goes, "Oh, I'm going to get you guys to meet Alan White after the show." And then it never worked out. It just never happened.
Bummer.
We didn't see my dad's friend again that night. It's like, damn it.
Bummer.
It's okay.
Well,
That's
anyway,
okay.
I also wanted to say before I forget that this was the first time that I heard the Six Wives of Henry VIII as well. Like this was like all of a sudden, he does these little quote, the Rick Wakeman solo, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you realize that he's doing like excerpts from his solo album, which
Yeah.
is pretty awesome as well.
It's amazing. I love that solo album. That's a top 3 solo Yes albums for me.
Yeah, yeah. So
And that's actually interesting that you bring that up because this would be their first documented live, well, their first documented live anything, but Rick was new to the fold too.
Yeah, yeah,
The year previously, like he
right.
came in 71, but the first live albums you'd hear from Yes would have Rick Wakeman on it, and he was kind of a newbie.
Yeah, he joined for Fragile, right. So
Yeah,
yeah, so he was fairly new at the time still, really.
yeah,
Um,
within a
yeah,
year at least.
yeah. So I mean, just the performances are great. I also love the Fish on here. I love long distance run around. I mean, I the Bruford stuff too. I mean, we're talking a lot about Alan White, but I love Bruford and I love Perpetual Change where he does his solo, and it's so unique. The way he solos is so very unique. You know what I mean? It's just like he's doing those snare rolls. It's like, oh my God, he's just so great. So
You know
great.
what gets me about that solo is the fact that he's keeping the hi-hat on time throughout everything he's doing. He's clamping the
Yes.
hi-hat,
Yes.
and
And you can hear it. You can hear it. Yeah.
yeah, and I was listening to that last night in preparation for this, and I'm going, do you know how hard that is to do that? To
Yeah.
keep the left leg just going straight for just boom, 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 and doing all this other insane stuff with the right leg and your arms and all that on top of it, but keeping the hi-hat clamping 1, 2, 3, 4. It's unreal. It's something that I practice. That's a total practice thing to gain that sort of limb independence, and he's got it. It's amazing.
Complete independence. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
He is
So
just he's the best.
it's insane. Ultimately, we didn't go song by song, but this is a great live record. I mean, if you like, I mean, it's an amazing live record. It really is. It'd take too long to go through track by track because it's just so good. Um,
Yeah.
but we picked out some of the highlights, and it really is kind of like a greatest hits of. Some people could call it, greatest hits of their golden period in a way, because it's sort of like, it's they're the Fragile and Close to the Edge tours. I mean, and the Yes album was out as well. So it's like those three great albums that they're touring behind. You know,
Yeah. And having like all the hit singles that they had up to that point are all on this.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
Roundabout was a massive hit for them. Your Move was a big hit for them.
yeah.
Um, and what else? And then of course the albums were just doing really well in general. The albums were moving and selling, and so having a number 3 album and then putting this out, you know, it's just they were really riding a high wave here.
Oh, they were. They definitely. I mean, I think this was the height of their when this came out. This sold well. I mean, triple live album that sold well. They were a very hot band at the time.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and the fact that even got a triple live album, like Atlantic put out the money to do this massive triple album with the gatefold, and I mean, it's like they were hot property at that time. You know,
Oh yeah.
they were hot.
I
Uh,
mean, they even signed Rick Wakeman to do an instrumental album.
yeah, right. Exactly. So
'Cause this was mainstream at the time.
that's what I know. That's what's scary. It's like you think about it, like that was a mainstream album that people were going out and like can't wait to go buy it. Like God, that what a time for music. But anyway, so so we don't get another live album from Yes until 1980, right? I mean, after this awesome triple live album from 73, 7 years go by, and honestly, at this point, Yes is kind of, the history. Yes is kind of on the rocks at this point, right? They're breaking apart by the
Yeah.
time this album is released. The original lineup, or the classic lineup, I should say. Um, there it is. Pretty cool cover. I love the Roger Dean cover. Um, but they are so what happens is, um Chris, they this is tour so let me do a rundown. So basically it was released November 24th, 1980, recorded in 70, basically 76 through 78 at various tours, various locations in the US and Europe. Again, released on Atlantic, produced, and this was interesting, this one was produced by Chris Squire.
Yeah.
um and and as I said, the band was kind of in a I don't know. They didn't know what was going to happen in 1980. This is before drama, right? So all we knew at this point was that John and Rick had left.
Before drama.
Yeah,
Signed by
exactly.
signed by Jeff Downs, no less.
Oh, nice, nice.
Such a great album.
Oh, I love that. I love drama. Oh my God, so good.
Me too.
Uh, so yeah, so basically they left it to Chris. They just said, Chris, can you go through the tapes and compile a live album, essentially? And that's what he did from the various tours. So
And we're all better off for it because you get a hint of Patrick Moraz on here as well. For
yes,
the
yep,
very brief time that he was in Yes, he did the Relayer album, did the tour. There was about a 2-year tour, 75, 76, I guess. And yeah, there we go. I love the action shots of Steve Howe inside this. Him standing up
yes.
on the drum riser and everything.
He's in the air on one picture. Yeah,
So
he's
cool.
or no, sorry, that's Chris. That's Chris. Chris is in the air. Sorry.
That's
Uh,
oh, they were all jumping around having a great time, you know.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, this is a great album. This is a great album. I really like this one a lot. The production of this is well, it's a couple years later, right?
right,
And
right.
so it's a long like 7 years, and technology is a long time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so the production, you'll notice instantly that the sonics are more clear. Everything is there's a certain clarity to a lot of this album. Um, just like it's not murky or muddy at all. It's just the sound is just perfect on this.
Right. Right.
And like I said before, you get that perfect balance because you get some Wakeman tracks and then you get some tracks from when Patrick Moraz was touring with them. I think Patrick Moraz is on the epics on this. He's on The Gates of Delirium and Ritual.
Yes. Yep.
Patrick Moraz is on those. And it's interesting to have him on a Wakeman track like The Ritual, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But the version of Gates of Delirium on here is really cool. Some people miss the battle sounds, but if you like the song without the battle sounds, this is also a great version because it really hones in on the band just playing live right off the stage, right? No
Yeah.
doctoring or anything like that.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yep.
and it ends like this. The whole thing is a really great listen, top to bottom. I mean, you got Parallels opening it and Wondrous Stories closing it, and some people like you listen to this and go, "Oh, why wasn't Ritual the final track?" Well, the vinyl reasons. They had to split it up already, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Like part one at the end of side 3 and part 2 at the beginning of side 4. But if you have the CD version, it just plays out continuously, no problem. So
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
the track listing, and what's interesting about this is I put up a post on my Facebook, and like I was just asking people, which one do you prefer? And actually it was a very varied response. Some people were saying Yessongs, some people were saying Yesshows. And one of the big things that was happening in the comment section is we were all talking about there's a lot of comments on this post, and we were all talking about the fact that there's no overlap between the two albums. None, not even a roundabout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything, there's nothing that's on this album that was on this one. And so, as a Yes fan, it'd be great to just sit and load up all 4 CDs of these in your CD player if you got time one day and just let it go because it's kind of like a Yes anthology from 71 to 78 in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Just my
Yeah.
take on it.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's so true. I mean, the Yes shows is like a whole different era, and if you like that era, you're gonna love this, right? And it's what got me is I saw your Facebook post. I couldn't. I was shocked at, or not shocked, but I was like, wow, a lot of people said Yes shows because I
Mhm.
guess if you really, I mean, like the Gates of Delirium is great. I mean, it's a great version.
It
Uh,
is.
and it's like that's it's pretty cool. When he goes into Soon, I'm like, oh, it's like it's just like, oh, like he sings it so well, and oh, it's so great.
I mean, you can tell with this picture here of him holding the guitar,
Hmm.
he has to be playing soon there. That
Yeah,
has to be soon. I,
yeah,
I just feel like it is.
yeah,
Let's see.
yeah,
You can tell if Howe's doing the slide. Oh, you can't really see that well, but he's definitely playing soon. I don't care. Or
yeah,
Wondrous Stories.
Yeah, I just and his voice is he's just killing it. I mean, it's so strong. And but I mean, I also like, the only song that I think is like, the Ritual version's great too. The only song that I kind of think is on this record is, I'm not a big fan of Don't Kill the Whale, but I mean, it's like niggling. It's like one song, so
And you know, as far as this song is concerned, I'd say that do you like the studio version of it, or are you just kind of not big on the song in
yeah, I'm just not
general?
that big on the song. Yeah,
Okay,
generally.
okay.
Yeah.
Because as far as this song is concerned, this version of it is actually good.
Hmm.
Like, but if you don't like the song, it doesn't matter. But like the version of this, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just trying to put my words to it.
Has a little
Uh,
more power, maybe a little more
yeah,
majesty.
the energy on this version is different than what you might get on the studio version, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
But no,
It's
some
it's
people
not bad. It's not bad. It's just not my favorite song. It's not a bad thing. It's not.
I totally get you. And a lot of people don't like the Tornado album that much. So you're not like
You're not
there's
alone.
people who
But I
I
would have.
like
If they had played Onward, I'd be all in, man. I love Onward.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, this was definitely just Chris kind of going back to the tapes and pulling things that right, but um
Yeah.
as far as that song is concerned, at least this is a good version of it, you know.
Yes,
But
absolutely, absolutely. No, and other than that, I mean, I love Parallels. Parallels is a great way to kick it off. It's kind of cool that they dip back to Time and a Word. Like, that's really cool. They go back to the second record. That's like kind of a rare outing for Time and a Word, right?
yeah.
Then Going for the One is a great version. That's a really powerful, again, great version. I mean, so like really, I mean, and Ritual, I've enjoyed Ritual more than I thought I would even. Like, I thought the Ritual version's great.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Absolutely, yeah, and it's a, it's such a different release, but it's a good one. Even if any of these have their faults, I like both of them all the way through personally. But
Mm.
um, like they're both just they both showcase Yes playing really well and sounding really good as a band. Both these albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They were known as a great live band, and they don't disappoint, on these records. They just don't.
I saw them live a number of years ago, a few times, and they were good.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I saw them the last time I saw them, they did a really short set,
Mhm.
and it was just kind of like they were opening for Deep Purple.
Oh, okay.
And it was like they did like 4 or 5 songs, and then Steve Howe goes, "We got one more song." And Tara goes, "What?
What? One
He just
more?
came on. He just came on." But
Yeah.
just going back to, I mean, that's the current modern day Yes.
Right. Right.
For whatever people might want to say about that. It was still
Right.
fun to go to the show. It just they didn't play very long, and Steve Howe wasn't having the best night. I won't go I won't go
He didn't
too
seem
far
like he
into
was
that,
having a great night. Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Yeah.
these recordings really showcase his talent as a musician, so there's nothing really lost there.
Oh, Steve
Um,
Steve Howe is killing it on both of these albums. Yeah, for sure. For
I
sure.
know, I know, I know, and yeah, I really like this. I really like the two of them so much. There it is.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just tough. It really just depends on what era you like. And here's a question for you. Last question on Yes Shows. So, would you be interested in uh, would you, because you said you love Topographic Oceans. So, would you be interested in hearing another track from Topographic rather than Ritual? Would you rather hear like Revealing Science of God or something? I mean, would you be interested in hearing another one, or would you Ritual would be your pick?
You know, that's a great question, Tom.
Yeah.
Um, what I would like from this is to hear some of the full shows that were recorded at the time. Um, Ritual is one of my favorite Yes songs, so I would have to leave the Ritual on there.
Okay.
But
Okay.
a nod to Keys to Ascension in the '90s for coming out, the second song on the CD, I think, is dawn of light lying between the silence and some
Yes. Yep. Yep.
and so we kind of lucked out with that release many years down the road. Of course, that's a probably a conversation for another time, but
Right.
at least having two parts of Tales in really great live form is awesome. But for this, I'd probably keep it to the Ritual.
Okay. Okay. So
What about you?
you're very happy with Ritual. I think is it the first one? Is it Revealing Science of God? Is that the first track? Is that the
Yeah.
first side? Yeah, I love the first side of Topographic. So I think I would have to pick that. But Ritual's no slouch. I mean, believe me, I'm not Ritual's very close second for me. So I'm happy with Ritual.
So what are your thoughts on the Keys to Ascension albums? Just the live stuff.
Just the live stuff, I think it's pretty solid. I mean, I'm glad that it exists.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yes, absolutely.
I know lots of people, guys like Matt Brown and things like that, that the first time they got to see Yes was on that tour that was
Yeah.
recorded for Keys to Ascension. So imagine, did you ever get to see Yes?
Yes, I saw them on the Big Generator tour.
Oh, with Trevor Rabin
Trevor
too.
Rabin, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Man,
Yes.
I'm for all I love Steve Howe and I absolutely worship the ground that he walks on as a musician, okay?
Mhm.
But I love Trevor Rabin too. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Big Generator tour would have been awesome, especially if they were doing Shoot High, Aim Low and all those tunes.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. You know what else kicked butt was the dun 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 dun. What's that?
Yeah.
I'm running.
Yeah, I'm running. Yeah, yeah.
Ah, that was killer.
You know what? A quick nod here, just because we were talking about Trevor Rabin a little bit, and any chance I get, he came out with an album last year that is just absolutely fantastic.
So good. So good.
I know. I love Trevor Rabin,
Ah,
and this is like a long lost sort of 80s Yes album in a sense.
it is. It is.
But it really shows his musical ability throughout this record too,
Yeah.
and you can see what an influence his writing had on Yes in the 80s. But
That album is excellent. You're not kidding. That album is really, really good. Like that's the album everyone's been waiting for. Like, cause he's been doing so much soundtrack work. It's like, do a regular record, man. Come on. And he finally did one.
and you know what? He put it out the same year as Mirror to the Sky,
Yeah.
which I,
Yeah.
Mirror to the Sky has its moments, right? It's got its moments, but I was never personally a big fan of it. I don't know about you,
No,
but
not a huge fan now.
no, unfortunately, and I want to like it because I like the guys in the current lineup. I think Billy Sherwood is a hell of a musician.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
was just it wasn't my favorite. We'll
Right.
just say.
Right.
But that came out the same year, and I went, "Oh my God, yes!" And then this came out this year, and it's like,
Yeah.
Lord, what a time to be a fan of these guys,
Yes, true.
you
This is
know.
true. There's some great music coming out from yeah, absolutely.
And we are so lucky to be able to go back into history and pull out these and still have these guys making music. Whether you love the new Yes, that's amazing. If the fact that there's people who are still buying the records and still into it.
Mhm.
But then even the solo stuff is just it's fantastic and it's a great time to be alive and into this.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't believe how good the Trevor Rabin record was. I was like, this is so good. Like, I love this. Like you said, it's almost like if you love Big Generator and 90125 and I mean and it's like you're gonna love it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
great.
And Big Generator and 90125 serve as really great entry points to Yes.
Hmm.
I mean, but so does this in a sense. But
Yeah, yeah,
if there's lots of people who love pop music, and so um, those albums have this nice sort of blend of art pop, heavy rock, progressive rock, and just kind of all together. Like so, even on 90125, you get Owner of a Lonely Heart, but then you also get Changes, right?
right,
Which is
right.
it's a really complex tune, and so if you go to someone, do you know Yes? Oh yeah, and not don't know much about them. Say check this album out.
Hmm.
It's a really good, and that should be a conversation for some time in the future, just talking about those records. But
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
this at the time would have been a gateway for a lot of people because this was a big album for them. This Yes Songs
Oh,
would have
sure.
been a huge
Yeah,
gate.
Yeah.
gateway for a lot of people.
Yeah, back in the 70s, a lot of people probably discovered them from Yessongs. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like that fella we were talking about a little bit ago, absolutely discovered Yes through Yessongs.
Yeah.
And I only met him the once. He came in the store a long time ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I just want Yessongs, and that's it." Like, okay,
All
all
right.
right,
All right.
all right. That's hey, that's you could do a lot worse.
You do you, man. Yeah, exactly.
It's a great album, and every time I return to it, it's just like, oh yes, I just remember how amazing it is. And
Love it.
this,
So when the rubber hits the road, we have to do this. I hate to do this to you because they're both so good. So I mean, if you had to pick one of them, it just really depends on your mood. I always say that. I say this a lot because it really kind of does. Sometimes it depends on the mood you're in this week or whatever. You know, which one would you pick if you had to pick between the two?
that's a great question because I love them both, and like I said before, it feels like a natural continuation of Yes throughout the years. But you can't deny the song choices on this one.
Yeah, yeah,
And you get a Bruford drum solo.
yeah.
So
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna have to go with this one. But for great Sonics, I'm gonna have to go with this one.
Yeah,
The song choices are also amazing on that. You can't go wrong with the Gates of Delirium, right?
yeah, yeah.
But for the sake of this conversation here today, I'm gonna go with Yessongs.
Yep, yep.
Oh,
Well,
what about you?
okay. This is worth it. As you said, I'm repeating what you said, but this is worth it alone for Gates of Delirium and Ritual. Just those songs alone, it's worth owning this. And this sounds, to Cody's point, this sounds great. I try to get this thing in focus. God, there you go.
There you go.
This thing sounds great. But I'm agreeing with Cody ultimately. The song, you cannot beat the songs on this. The song, this is like they're come on. I mean, it's close to the edge. It's long distance runaround. It's perpetual change. It's Siberian Katru. I mean, it's like it's the song list is just unassailable. And it's possibly, you some people could argue that their height of their powers here. That
Yeah,
this is the height of Yes, when Yes Live is like, when people saw them on these tours, they were blown away. Like, this band is awesome, you know. Uh,
totally.
so
Totally. Oh yeah, and my dad would have been one of the lucky guys to actually be in the audience for some of these tours.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and he would have seen all of this live. He saw them live right up to Open Your Eyes
Okay.
when they came out
Okay.
with that. So he was seeing them pretty much every tour that he possibly could
Wow. Wow.
up until then. And then the last couple, like he saw them with Benoit David, with me,
Mhm.
once in 2019 with John Davison, and Alan White was still around,
Right.
and the last time was just this last year, and Alan White was unfortunately no longer with us.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
noticed in the set list that there was nothing newer than 1980. They opened with Machine Messiah, and then everything was like 1971, 1972, and that was it. They
Yeah.
didn't play anything from their new album,
Oh, wow. Wow.
which was strange because
That's
you'd
kind of
think
odd.
that they would, yeah, that they'd pull a cut from that, but whatever.
I think you'd get at least one song from the new album. But
Deep
but
Purple was amazing.
they were. That's why I've heard Purple's still killing it. Like, I've heard that they're still rocking. They're still rocking hard.
They were absolutely off the chain, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, yeah, yeah. It's so good I can't.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But Roger Glover standing like a few feet away from us. That's how close we were to the stage. It was so cool that he's such a rock god, you know. He is. He
He's
is. And
amazing.
Ian
He's a
Gillan.
stalwart. Yeah.
No. But
Unbelievable.
yeah, this was a great battle, Tom.
Yeah.
This
This
was a
was.
really great battle. In the gates of Yes Lyrium.
No, well, Cody, thanks again for joining me as always. I really appreciate you jumping on the channel and putting time into this and thought into this, and this was fun. I mean, this is like homework I don't mind doing. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, I know it's totally the best. And Tom, I appreciate every time you reach out. and we get to do this. I am so grateful that you think of me and have me on the channel the way you do. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course, of course. So, but yeah, so check out, if you get a minute, check out Cody's channel. I'll put links below. Um, and he also has a show on Deep Nuggets Radio. So and just check out Facebook. He's always it's up there.
It's
Uh,
up there. Yeah, I know. I'm always posting and tagging and all this.
yeah, check it out. Check it out. It's cool stuff. But yeah, Cody, man, I always say the guy plays drums. He's got a record store. He does a YouTube channel. He's a warrior, man. He's a music warrior. I love it. Um,
Well, so are you. You got a new album coming out, right?
oh yeah, I've just finished a record. So yeah, we're both music guys. I mean, music is what we love and it's what we do. And I mean, it's just fun. We just love it. Music is
Rockimus
life.
Maximus
Music is
all the
life,
time.
baby.
Roximus Maximus, 10 out of 10, 24/7. There we go.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So anyway, so if you stayed with us this long, we appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you must be a Yes fan, so we love you. But if you like this content, you got to hit like and subscribe because it helps the channel and that'll help me to continue doing this. So appreciate that. And we will see you next time on Curless Mania. Take care. See ya.